Welcome back, Patriots, to our part 2 of the oversight investigation and referral documents that were released today. Now, what we have here is the ICA excluded key quotes from Humant and the Signet that directly contradicted the Putin preferred Trump quote and the narrative, while selectively quoting only what supported it. That's a big problem. This page also shows deliberate cherry picking, and instead of presenting a balanced analysis, the ICA, get this, ignored high-level intelligence that directly undercut its most important conclusion. Moving forward from between pages 13 and 14, what we have is the ICA quoted Russian views about Trump's supposed strengths, but omitted concerns Russian analysts had about him, like his unpredictability and GOP control of Congress. This reveals that the ICA presented only the positive angles of Trump's candidacy from Russia's perspective, while, get this, excluding strategic downsides the Russians themselves discussed, which continues to play in that this whole idea here was to present a narrative to the American people of what the Obama administration wanted them to see, along with the Clinton campaign. We have here on page 14 continued that the ICA did not have access to a large trove of cyber intelligence that was exfiltered by Russia, yet failed to disclose this major limitation to readers. Again, another example of not disclosing things, fabricating things, making them up, unverified. We don't know where this came from, but let's put it in here anyways. You're seeing, again, a common theme. This means the ICA's findings were based on incomplete evidence, and its authors knew it, meaning they were complicit. You have intent on page 14 right here, yet they presented their judgments with high confidence, which is a misleading claim given to a glaring blind spot with this information right here. This is a damning intel right here. FBI analyst here, moving from page 14 to 15, believed the withheld intelligence could have clarified the scope of Russian influence, but the Obama administration blocked access to it. I'm going to say that again. The Obama administration blocked access to it. This page shows that critical context was deliberately withheld, possibly to shape the narrative, raising serious concerns about politicization and transparency at the highest levels. This is going all the way to the office of the presidency, folks. We have, moving forward here from 15 to page 16, this is the bottom half of 16 that you'll be looking at, and I believe the middle part to bottom part of page 15, that the ICA failed to explain why Putin chose not to leak damaging material in the final weeks of the campaign, despite having explosive documents that could have helped Trump. So what we have here is Vladimir Putin allegedly had damning intelligence information against the Hillary Clinton campaign that was so bad it would have nuked her campaign and her prospects of even being the next president. This is key, because if Putin truly wanted Trump to win, why didn't he use his most damaging tools when the race tightened? The ICA doesn't address this contradiction, severely weakening its thesis. Furthermore, and it's going to get more crazy, folks, so buckle up, because we're about to get into some serious stuff here in a moment. Leaked Clinton-related documents during the campaign were less damaging than the documents Putin held back, and the ICA failed to mention this strategic disparity. The omission is crucial here, because the ICA's conclusion depends on the idea that Putin was actively helping Trump, but his actions contradicted that. He chose not to release the most politically lethal documents, and they are lethal because it goes into Hillary Clinton's health. We have here Putin withheld documents linking Clinton to severe health issues. And look at these health issues, folks. Secretary Clinton's health to be extraordinarily alarming, and felt it could have serious negative impact on her election prospects. Her health information was being kept in the strictest secrecy, and even close advisors were not being fully informed. You have that right here, right under this highlight. Even her close advisors were not being fully informed. Gee, that sounds a lot like maybe what could have happened with Joe Biden. You also have the SVR. This is one of the most damaging pages, I think, to Hillary Clinton, the Democrat Party here, regarding her health. Page 17. The SVR posed DNC communications that Clinton was suffering from intensified psycho-emotional problems. That is not what you want to hear from a prospective presidential candidate, including uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness. Clinton was placed on a daily regime of heavy tranquilizers, and while afraid of losing, she remained obsessed with a Christ of power. This is not somebody that you want to see in the office of the presidency. And what's interesting here is, do you notice a lot of what they're trying to do here? They were projecting, or what was going on with Clinton was being projected upon Trump. Oh, 25th Amendment, not fit to hold office. He's psycho. He has fits of anger and aggression. He has an obsession with power. What you'll see a lot of the Democrat Party here is they project a lot of what they're experiencing onto somebody else. And in this case, it's Donald Trump. It goes further. It ain't good. She has type 2 diabetes. She has deep vein thrombosis and a chronic obstruction pulmonary disease. Remember, she was passing out. I remember her getting carried and put into a van. The SVR possessed a campaign email discussing a plan approved by Secretary Clinton link Putin and Russia hackers to candidate Trump. I'm going to read that again. Again, this is one of the most damaging pages to Hillary Clinton and the Democrat Party. The SVR proposed a campaign email, listen, discussing a plan approved by Clinton herself to link Putin and Russia hackers to candidate Trump in order to distract the American public from the Clinton email server scandal. There you have it. And this is a follow-up to what we're seeing online, where allegedly there's emails and text that are claiming this exact same thing. We haven't seen the emails and the text yet, but this is giving credibility to that being true. Now, again, this is one of the most damaging sections. It shows that Putin had far more damning material on Clinton than was ever released. We've never seen this before, and chose not to use it. That completely undermines the idea that he was trying to get Trump elected. And now we have this. Putin also had access to significant derogatory intelligence on Clinton, including health records and psychological evaluations, but chose not to release it during the final stretch of the election. If Putin's goal was to help Trump, folks, leaking this material could have been devastating to Clinton's candidacy. The fact that he withheld it contradicts the ICA's assertion that he wanted Trump to win. It's falling apart here, folks, and falling apart quickly. The SVR also had intelligence showing that Clinton campaign plotted to tie Trump to Russian hackers as a distraction, which we read, and had information on the State Department corruption to sway religious groups. This intelligence, if leaked, would have shattered the narrative that Trump colluded with Russia, yet Putin chose not to release it. This choice undermines again the claim that he was trying to help Trump win. You're seeing a constant theme here, a constant theme of manipulating intelligence, a constant theme of lying to the American people, a constant theme of hiding records constantly, not verifying records, taking a sentence from somewhere and extrapolating it upon something else and completely fabricating an entire narrative upon nothing. I mean, this whole thing was made up right in front of your eyes. And for 8 years, it was peddled by the American media, the mainstream media, the Democrat Party, the president-elect Hillary Clinton, or I should say the front runner of the Democrat Party, Hillary Clinton, the Obama administration, the CIA, the FBI, everybody was involved in this. And by the way, you should be pissed about this. You should be upset with what this is saying, because this is lying to you straight to your face. And we weren't told about it for 8 years, and now we are. The SVR also had communication showing the DOJ and the DNC collusion during the Clinton email investigation, a politically explosive revelation Putin chose not to use. Once again, Putin had in his possession intelligence that could have called into question the legitimacy of the DOJ and Clinton herself, yet he didn't use it once again. This decision, again, fundamentally goes against the strategy to help Trump. It sounds a lot like he was helping the DNC and Hillary Clinton. Now, moving on to page 18, despite access to all this damaging material, what the ICA failed to mention is violating ICD's 203's directive that intelligence must be considered all relevant information. This shows not just that an analytic failure, but a deliberate exclusion of information that would have cast doubt on ICA's headline conclusion, a serious breach of analytic objectivity. Big time. You also have, despite access to this damaging material, the ICA failed to mention it once again. And if you look down here, it says their accesses were already blown by the GRU leaks and subsequent media reports and forensic investigation by private U.S. companies. Strategic priorities would have trumped any SVR tactical concerns about accesses. At a minimum, the ICA should have identified this contrary evidence and addressed it. But not including the significant intelligence, the CIA violated their own directives. and analysis should be informed by all relevant information available. Doesn't seem like that happened. In page 19, what you have is the ICA ignored GRU leaks that hurt Trump, like Colin Powell's emails, which called Trump a national disgrace and contradicted the ICA's narrative that Trump helped him. The ICA claimed that Russia helped Trump, yet it ignored these anti-Trump leaks from the Russian cutout DC leaks. This omission makes it the report's logic selective and political motivation, all out there in the open for you to see. You also have the ICA admitted Russia may have compromised both parties, but said that there was no evidence of damaging material collected on Republicans, a significant assumption without proof. Now, this is speculative, but the ICA assumes absence of damaging leaks equals preference for Trump. That don't make sense to me, but this ignores the reality that Trump's campaign structure was smaller, newer, and harder to penetrate, making Clinton the more obvious target. But again, why didn't Putin release this if the narrative this entire time, this whole report was predicated on the idea that the Russians and Vladimir Putin wanted to help Trump win the election, so much so that they were willing to leak all this information from the DNC emails and about Hillary Clinton and everything going on, but he didn't do it. Again, this is very damning to the Obama administration, the intelligence community, Congress, everybody. The ICA also failed to analyze how the Clintons' long tenure in public life made her a bigger collection target than Trump, who was seen as a fringe candidate, by the way, which we have highlighted for you, until mid-2016. This highlights that Russia's focus on Clinton may not reflect preference, just greater opportunity and strategic targeting. Failing to acknowledge this gives the false impression that Trump was favored. You're seeing a very common theme here in the latter half of these documents. And it continues, by the way. I mean, we're not going to go through all 46 pages because what you're going to see, and you already are, by the way, is seeing a constant theme of lying, manipulation, withholding information, not actually sourcing things out correctly, straight up lying about it, fabricating stuff, not knowing where stuff is coming from. We heard it from somewhere, but let's include it still. There's no date on the email. There's nothing there. There's nothing to be seen. Have no idea, no follow-up, but let's use it anyways because we saw it in a tabloid magazine, meaning the Steele dossier. The ICA didn't consider the Russians or that Russia may have had voluminous, unrealized intelligence on Clinton, including surveillance, intercepts, and damaging conversations. This further challenges the idea that Putin was all in for Trump. The decision to withhold massive intelligence assets suggests other motives, like strategic leverage post-election that the ICA just ignored altogether. There's a constant theme here with just ignoring things, right? That go against their narrative. It's a really weird. I don't know how you come across thinking that everything we've been told for these last 8 years is real. I mean, folks, it is page after page after page after page after page after page. I think legitimately on every page is something out there just saying that they lied. So I think you have 46 pages of legitimate just saying, yep, they lied about this. Oh, here's another page. Here's another thing they lied about. Oh, here's another thing to contradict the narrative. Oh, here's another thing to prove them wrong. Oh, by the way, that wasn't good enough. Oh, sorry, here's another thing. I mean, it is endless receipts for you to show you. The only way somebody gets out of this and says that Russia was in favor of Donald Trump is you just have to completely ignore everything. I mean, you'd have to ignore 46 pages of declassified intelligence to get to that conclusion. This is one of the most insane documents I think I've ever read in my life, and I've read a lot of documents. There's no way around this, unfortunately. I mean, this is proven intent. This is proving manipulation. Whoever's going to court for this, and they better be, I don't know how you get around this. By the way, I mentioned this in part 1. Tulsi Gabbard's still coming out with more documents next week. I didn't even know she was going to come out with this. I can't even imagine. You know, usually you leave the best for last. It's like a nice glass of wine. You know what I mean? You save the best for last. I don't know what she's going to release next week. What we have here is the ICA misquoted and mischaracterized intelligence documents in order to assert that Putin supported Trump. Gee, it misquoted again and mischaracterized. God, it's almost like we've read that 5-6 times at least. Violating tradecraft and misleading top government leaders like Congress, like Donald Trump himself and others, the American people as well. This is devastating because not only did the ICA cherry pick, it also misled the highest levels of U.S. leadership, including the incoming president, meaning Donald Trump. It calls into question the integrity of the intelligence process at a systemic level. I mean, and it's right what Dan Bongino and Kash Patel were mentioning here. This is systemic and you got to clean house. This is bad. It's damaging, but I want to know what you think about this in the comment section below. Share this with your friends and family, all over social media. I don't know if we'll do a part 3 because, folks, it's just rinse and repeat. It's the same thing over and over and over again, but we at least got you through at least half of this, and it's just reiterated over again what the FBI has been saying, and they basically, again, just repeat themselves, kind of like I'm doing right now. With that being said, check out the Bald Brad Show. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Leave us a comment down below. Share this with your friends and family, all over social media. I'll see you next time here on the Bald Brad Channel. Take care, Patriots.